Hey guys, welcome back to Sad Dad. My name's Dave Abkary and I am a comedian out of Fresno, California, and this is a podcast where I sit down with my fellow funny friends, my fellow comedians, and we talk about dads. Hi, how are ya? Am I still in your feed? Am I still in your podcast feed? Sorry, I was gone so long. I ended up taking the month of December off. I was just feeling really overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, and my guest booking schedule got out of control, and things just fell by. I was producing way too many shows. I get this thing. I call it show shoulder. I tend to carry like a lot of like my stress and my tension in my shoulders, and sometimes I'll have this like crazy run of shows, where I'm like booking and producing and performing on and hosting and everything else. December was I think it was 25 comedy shows I was involved in putting on and performing on, and it happens every now and then where I'll get to the end of a crazy run like that, and I just get this like debilitating knot in my shoulder. So I just got done dealing with that. Just a lot of ibuprofen and shoulder rubbings and heating pads, and in the midst of all of that, with the holidays going on and everything else, Abby was off school, so I was having to entertain a 9-year-old, for days on end. The podcast just fell by the wayside. So if you're still here, thank you. Happy 2020. I'm glad to be back. I've got a pretty amazing episode for you guys today. Just I guess a couple of things. If you want to rate and review on iTunes, I'd love you forever. You could do that. You can go to Sad Dad Facebook page and we could talk about stuff there. Have you watched anything cool? Have you been watching anything cool? Did you watch The Witcher? Did you guys watch The Witcher? What do you think? I thought it was kind of slow. I really like it. I really like Henry Cavill. I think that's his name, Superman, as The Witcher. But everything else is a little bit slow. I don't know if it's the way they wrote the character of Yennefer or the way the actress portrays her, but I cannot stand her. She is the worst character. She's so unlikable, and I'm supposed to like her, and I'm like, I just can't. And Star Wars, I don't know what you guys thought about Star Wars. That was I thought he brought it in for a landing. Old J.J. Abrams brought that thing in for a landing as best he could. I mean, it was sort of like it was a landing. It was like one of those landings where everybody survives, but like the landing gear got like ripped off and the plane's all banged up. He did his best. And the Mandalorian was great. So yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll hop on the Zed Dead Facebook page. We'll talk about it there. So cool. Let's do this, guys. Let's jump into the sode. Let's jump into the sode today. That's some new vernacular I picked up in my time away. I also dyed my hair. I bleached my hair blonde. So kind of like the things you do during summer break, except it was winter and I wasn't doing a podcast and I don't have school anymore. My mom let me bleach my hair for the summer. I had to chop it all off now that school's back in session, though. So now I just have a dumb buzz cut that my dad did for me in the backyard. So, here we are. All right, today's guest. This guy is great. I spent the last 3 days with this man while he was up doing my shows. He's an absolute he's a blast. He's an insane person, and I love him for it. He came up with a previous Sad Dad guest, Michael Regilio. Michael brought Fanto as his name. He has kind of like a cool. He has a last name. He actually has a really long name. He just goes by Fanto to make it easier on everybody. And I sat down with him today. His dad and his story. I mean, Fanto's story is insane. And we get into a lot of it. He's got a lot of perspective on this world that I found to be fascinating. And I think you guys will like it a lot too. So this is a real fucking kick in the nuts coming back to Sad Dad, and I'm real excited to show it to you guys. So without further ado, let's do the damn thing. Here we go. Fanto.
Hey Regilio, can you put on some socks, man? You got fucking grandma feet.
Grandma feet? My girlfriend thinks my feet are ugly too. Wow, Yeah, I don't know. You're living your best Fresno life, though. You seem to like it here.
I do, man. It's it reminds me of a time that I wasn't there, but I could be. If I was there.
I see. You feel like there's a little part of you that's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it seems like this place has like really resonated with you. Is it like?
It has.
Yeah.
It has. I like just hiding out, not seeing a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what we've been doing. Yeah. We wandered around a little bit yesterday. You got to see Tower District and stuff, but yeah, that's good. I mean, are you able to like get out of LA often, or are you?
Nope.
No. What's your day job?
I got a bunch of stuff.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I got a bunch of stuff.
I respect the hustle. That's good.
Yeah, I do. I drive Uber, truck dispatching.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm a substitute teacher with those little fucking
That's right.
cocksuckers.
You got a great bit about substitute teaching. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sometimes I put miles back on cars.
What do you mean? I don't know if I follow.
It's not the most legal job.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people might call it fraud.
And then just take them down to like the closest used car lot and
yeah.
Oh, wild. Yeah, I didn't know you could do that with modern cars.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I guess it's just a computer. Yeah. It's just a computer.
You can do it on all cars unless it's like Benz, BMWs, Audis, 2019 and newer.
Okay.
But anything before 2019, it's all doable.
Yeah.
And even the newer Toyotas, Hondas.
Nice.
Any car, it's all doable.
Like this 09 Chevy Aveo only has 10K, buddy.
Yeah, you can put it. Yeah.
That's wild.
But every fucking used car lot does that shit.
Sure. Yeah.
So if anyone in LA wants to put their miles back,
this is the guy.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah. But we'll get you full Kelly Blue Book value on that bitch when it comes down to
even a little bit more.
That's great, man. When did you actually make the move to LA though? Because I know you've lived all over the place, right?
I have, yeah, but I've my center is here. I've lived all over, but I grew up here.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Because I know you talk about it in your act. You were born in Ukraine. Is that?
Yeah, Soviet Union.
What's that like? What's it being a kid in Ukraine?
In
the late '80s. What's that?
You don't remember much. I mean, I know some stuff.
Yeah.
I know some stuff. And then we went to Armenia, and then Moscow, and then Belarus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, and this is all while you're still really young, or were you?
Yeah, we came to LA when I was 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you really had, I mean, you basically, you're an American at that point. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you ever, I mean, you still have
Unfortunately, I've lost my fucking heritage.
Yeah. Do you,
I'm hanging out with fucking vegans here with fucking ugly feet.
He put on socks, you son of a bitch. You shamed him into wearing socks.
He deserves it. He has
You
a fucking
asshole.
wonderful girlfriend.
Yeah, he's happy.
I'm lonely. Zero attractive women here, man.
Yeah, you haven't. There'll be some cute chicks tonight. Yeah. You're seeing like Clovis. You're seeing Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Stuff. But yeah, Tower.
The bartender chick, she was nice.
Yeah, she's great.
And that crazy chick that was gonna get everyone arrested.
Yeah, I think that was the last time we're gonna see David Glass. He took her home. Did you see that?
I didn't see nothing, Dave. I didn't see nothing. I was in LA last night.
Totally.
I was in my grandma's house in LA last night.
We weren't accomplices to anything. I told him, man. I was like, dude, no, she's so drunk. Don't mess with that girl. I don't know.
Hey, we never know.
You never know.
Never know.
He'll figure it out. I hope. I don't know. Anyway,
the heart wants what the heart wants.
It does. And last night, the heart wanted a drunk, coked up chick, and God bless. I mean, I hope it all worked out for both of them.
Yeah.
I hope they're okay.
Also, if you guys want your miles back, come to the Full Circle tonight.
Yeah. You're doing it. That's great. So you grew up. What part of LA did you grow up in?
All over, man. I grew up in a fucking ghetto.
Did you?
I grew up in a fucking all over Hollywood, North Hollywood, Pacoima.
Yeah.
Glendale, Panorama City, Pomona. Every school, every high school I went to, I got kicked out. There was race riots.
Yeah.
Every high school I've been to, a kid got murdered because of gang violence.
Jesus.
On campus.
Wow.
On campus.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what's it, and like growing up. I mean, are you like
traumatic?
Traumatic? Are you like a real like precocious? Are you like doing sports, or what do you like as a kid? Are you?
I graded basketball. I was almost a walk-on Santa Monica College.
Oh, cool! Wow. Yeah.
My grandpa was I think he played college or whatever. They had semi-professional in Russia. He had a long jump and I jumped high.
Yeah.
He jumped high as well. But man, it was just a different environment.
Yeah.
Like my older brother and cousins and everyone else, they were just troublemakers. You know, they were gangbangers, and I never had a chance to kind of live my own life.
Oh, really?
Because when I went to high school, you get beat up and you get into that fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
So you had no choice. Like I would want to go play basketball, and then you get down with the Mexicans or the blacks, and then even the Armenians or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, well, I can't do that because then you get expelled or it was just a very crazy environment.
Yeah.
You know, now that I'm a substitute teacher, I see these fucking kids are pussies.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's a totally different culture.
Nothing.
Now at school.
You can't you get people are getting suspended because of what they write on Facebook.
Yeah.
But one time I went to my health teacher. This was in North Hollywood, and I go, hey man, those kids are waiting to jump me outside. Like, what do I do? And this is a teacher. He was like, I don't know, man. I'm off the clock.
Oh, goddamn.
Like, he's like, you got to run. Like my health teacher. I'm like, those Crips are fucking, they're going to jump me.
Yeah.
And they fucking jump me.
Wow.
Like, if that shit happened today,
yeah,
the school would be in a lawsuit. The school would close down. There was a huge settlement. Right. That's just what happened, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. And that's, that was the 90s. I mean, it was, well, that was, I guess, maybe more the early 2000s, because you and I are pretty close in age. Yeah. And that was kind of like what it was like in my school. You know, I went to a country school out here, and it was like a big melting pot. You know, I mean,
what kind of school? Country?
It was like it was like my high school was like we had like my high school had all these like weird overlapping demographics where you had like the white farmers kids with like the children of like the migrant workers. So you had like a big Hispanic, population. Then you had like, we're not far from MLK Boulevard, actually, like South Fresno. So a lot of those kids, like inner city kids, were there, and it was all just like stacked up. You just had all these different like weird.
Is MLK Boulevard ghetto?
I mean, that's that's
because every MLK,
it is.
It's a shame. It's like it should be like the best part.
It should be like the main boulevard of the city with like the all the nice lampposts and all the nice neighborhoods, but it's not. Yeah. And so it's I mean, but I saw that and I experienced that, and like it was funny. You were talking about how, I mean, just the other day you were talking about how you were different, and you were the minority amongst minorities. And you had to deal with that, and I had to deal with that too. Like it was.
Did you fight a lot?
I did, and it was not anything that I'm like proud of or anything like that. But it was like, it's like when you have a funny last name, you got a funny last name too.
I told you my names.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Sounds like a weird.
You said a curse.
I said yeah. Your name sounds like a gypsy curse.
Yeah, that's fucking the funny. My full name, bro. Oh
yeah. But
that's why I go by one single name, because motherfuckers still can pronounce it. Fanto.
Yeah, I was gonna
call me Frank.
I was gonna mention this. You're a fucking saint. Just in the time that the 3 days you and I have been hanging out, every fucking person's like, oh, like the drink, Fanto, like the drink, and like I'm tired of hearing it, and I'm not even you. I can't even fucking imagine.
That's why you gotta assault people sometimes.
Yeah. So you're a saint for putting up with all of that bullshit. Oh, man, so, but yeah, like I mean, I definitely like you mentioned that the other day, where you were oftentimes, like I said, the minority amongst the minorities and having to deal with that. And that was something that kind of related to me too. It's like all I wanted to be growing up was Mexican. Like I just want to be Mexican. Like all my friends are Mexican. Yeah. All the cool kids are Mexican. Like I just want to be Mexican so I can fit in. And like I have this weird last name. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what an Armenian is. And so
You know, the crazy thing was, growing up, the biggest drama was with the Mexicans.
Uh-huh.
And it was school riots. There's like insane, bro. Just knocking bitches out.
Yeah.
Like they close the cafeteria doors and it's like fucking everyone's getting stabbed.
Oh,
this
geez.
was high school, dog.
Yeah.
High school.
Yeah.
You know, like you go to Pasadena, it was against the blacks. You go against and then we went to a neighborhood where my cousin and brother, they were from an old Mexican gang. Mm-hmm. So, and over time, like, the shit started changing. So then I go to a school where it was, like, predominantly Armenians and Mexicans and blacks, and there would be riots, and I'm like, well, you know, if there's anything happens after school, then I'd go with my Mexican homies. Uh-huh. So, and over time, it changed because, you know, my friends and brothers, cousins... My cousin got killed. He got killed by 18th Street.
Oh, my God.
And then, you know, fucking gang shit, man. And then, you know, shit happens after that.
Yeah.
So, and then people went to jail. And then over time, it was not as crazy anymore because the Armenians and Mexicans started getting along because they're older siblings. You have to get along in prison. Mm-hmm. So... all that shit changed maybe 2006 with I think with the advent of the iPhone.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, as I was getting into community college. I went to community college, still fucked, like, I never graduated high school. I got kicked out of high school.
Oh, really?
So I went to community college, and there was this Mexican guy, Oscar Galindo. He's a fucking... I'll forever be indebted to him. Mm-hmm. I just went because of my mom, and I was like, man, fuck this college, fucking, this shit is gay. Mm-hmm. And then I was still banged out, and he goes, hey, man, you know, you know, are you in a gang? Are you from the Armenian gang or from Armenian Power? I was like, nah, man, I'm not fucking from Armenian Power, because they were rivals. It was an Armenian gang, but they were rivals with my fucking cousin and brother's gang. And I was like, nah, man, I'm from this gang, but whoop. They're from, I was in a fucking, I did minimal. I was like, my fucking... older homies, I seen them kill people.
Jeez, yeah.
Like, I saw motherfuckers get shot in the face. I got shot at. I got stabbed a bunch of times.
Oof. Yeah.
So I did minimal.
Sure.
Like, I'm the fucking whatever I have to get to C- in gangbanging. Like,
passing grade.
Yeah.
So these guys are cool with me.
Yeah. Just enough. Just like, all right, I'll kick this fucking homeless person and steal his dog, you know, as long as I don't get jumped.
Yeah, right.
And then, you know, they always said, like, how'd you get out of this life? I go, you just fucking stop saying hi to them. Uh-huh. I just go back to the neighborhood, and they go, hey, what's up, fool? What's up, homie? I was like, nah, man, I'm just going.
Let's go see my mom. Like,
yeah, don't talk to me. I'll call the cops.
Yeah.
I'm calling the cops. And then they just stop.
Yeah.
Also, my older brothers, they were maniacs, so they're like, we're not gonna touch him.
Yeah. Are you the youngest?
Middle.
You're the middle. Yeah.
I had a twin sister. She passed away when we were babies.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. That's kind of wild. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a crazy fucking story, man.
Well, I mean, like how old though? Like you said babies? Like I mean, it was
newborn
babies. Or?
One.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard. Yeah. I mean, it's always hard when a baby dies, of course, but like a year in, you've gotten to know them. Like you've gotten
And after that, I was with my grandparents, my father's side, and we were in Armenia. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother had elephantitis. She was a beautiful young lady, but she had elephantitis.
Oh my God!
If you know, elephantitis is when all the body parts are big.
Yeah.
So you can't fucking move. And my grandfather, he was in most of his life. He's been in prison. He's the first person to rob a bank in the Soviet Union with a shotgun.
That's your coat of arms.
Like
it's a shotgun.
Yeah. He was one of the first people to have a gas station. Like he was an OG ass mother. Like he was a legend. Uh-huh. And he was a professional weightlifter. He was very big and strong, but he was very nimble as well. Uh-huh. So there was an earthquake that happened in Armenia, in Lenakan. And the earthquake was so strong, there was, underneath the city, there were these bombs facing Turkey and Azerbaijan that exploded.
Jesus.
So that destroyed the entire city. And this city was designed after Chicago. It was, a lot of people say the Kremlin did it on purpose because it was the most productive city in all of the Soviet Union, because they didn't want them to still be having all those factories and all those. It was like the main hub of the Soviet Union besides Odessa in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So they said the Kremlin did it. To this day, they say that on purpose they did it. So a percentage, 1% of the population died.
Oh wow.
And I was when the earthquake hit. They forgot that I was in a crib sleeping. So the entire city's, all the buildings are crumbling. And my grandfather moves my grandma outside of the house. And then we had a dog named Gina. Gina refused to get out of the house. She was going back and forth. And then he realized that I'm in the crib. So as he goes to pick me up, the wall falls on us.
Oh my God.
And then he's able to get me and himself out of the rubble, and he goes out of the house, and the house just crumbles.
Jesus.
So I was in that earthquake, and my grandfather saved me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, 1988, December 7th.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
What? That's insane. That's do your grandparents still live out?
No. My grandfather, whenever he found out that we got the green card to come to the States, he had a heart attack and died.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's bad timing. Oh wow. You think he would have been
fun? That's why I do comedy, motherfuckers.
And so, growing up, you're like, you got this tumultuous upbringing. You got, you're into like gangs and all that. But you started to talk about where it started to like turn around for you. You mentioned the guy Eric. Was that his name?
Who?
The guy that
Counselor?
Yeah. Or no, that's the counselor. But the guy that you said you owed a bunch to.
Oscar Galindo.
That's it, Oscar.
Yeah. He was the head counselor at the college. He goes, "Hey man, don't worry about it. I'll put you in a scholars program." And then he basically put me in a scholars program. He did what I had to do, and he got me into UCLA.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah, and I graduated UCLA, and I was headed to law school, and then fucking some other shit happened.
Oh man, well, you
which led me to become a stand-up comic.
I was gonna ask,
didn't happen.
What was your journey into comedy? Like, were you growing up? Were you like a
Nope? I had no idea about stand-up. I didn't give a fuck about comedy. I just wanted to be a powerful attorney, have a lot of money, a beautiful wife, kids, and a bunch of bitches on the side. Like nice. I wanted to know the law and prevent people in my circles to not be raped by the cops.
Yeah.
And the system, because that's what they do. It doesn't matter what color you are, they're gonna fuck you over.
Yeah.
If you're black, the black cops and the black people are gonna fuck your community. If you're Mexican, if you're Armenian, if you're Jewish, there is no fucking white people putting down these. It's all fucking farce.
More of a class warfare thing.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like when people think, oh no, if you've been to court. The DA's black, the DA's a fucking lesbian bitch, the DA's an Asian fucking whore, the judge is a fucking black motherfucker. It doesn't matter who they are. Yeah. You're a defendant, you're a criminal, and they have to get elected. Mm-hmm. No one's gonna be like, oh, he's a fucking no. It was an Armenian DA. She's like, nah, to my brother, nah, fuck him, let him get life. Yeah. You're gonna talk to this bitch about the genocide? They don't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck. It's the courtroom. And that's why it's the beauty of being in this country, because this country, no matter how fucking flawed it is, it has the best jurisprudence. Mm-hmm. Do a lot of people go on prison? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But compared to the rest of the world, you have a chance.
Sure. Yeah.
You have a chance.
And you wanted to be the advocate for those people.
I wanted to be the advocate.
Yeah.
I never knew. Maybe I heard about Dane Cook. Maybe. Mm-hmm. In my family, I come from the funniest people in my family.
Yeah.
They're so funny. Naturally, they're just funny.
Right.
And I took a First Amendment course, and I saw a video of Lenny Bruce, and I was laughing so hard that I was crawling on the ground trying to get the professor's attention to leave, because I thought I was going to die. And it was right around the time when all this like PC... Like everyone had like their minority studies happening. That's when all the whatever we see last couple of years have been happening. That's when it started. Right. When you get like Latino studies and African American studies and Armenian studies and Jewish studies and gender. That's when it was like the starting. That's when I was leaving the UCLA, and I was like, I can't believe. And what is this? This is stand up.
Yeah, right.
This is fucking you can do that
because he was doing it. Lenny Bruce was doing it at the time when like there were literal obscenity laws. Like he was like cops were like waiting for him. Like by the side of the stage, as soon as he stepped off stage, he was gonna get arrested.
The entire audience.
Yeah.
So it's because of him when the cops let Lenny Bruce die instead of saving him in the bathtub.
He never even knew what an influence he would become. Like he died before any of that.
It was Gene Sibelius. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. I think it was Gene Sibelius. He was a senator. I don't know what senator. Because of Lenny Bruce, he passed a Sibelius clause to the Constitution, which says you cannot get tried for anything you say on a stage platform, which is, I'm not exactly sure how the wording is on the statute, 9 inches above the ground and on a stage platform. So because of Lenny Bruce, because of that statute, we have stand-up comedy. Yeah. It's not because of the First Amendment. The First Amendment doesn't mean anything. They can, the federal government, they can do whatever the fuck you want. They want to you. Doesn't matter who it is. Everyone in federally, you right now we're fucking breaking 30 federal laws. That's why they don't understand how important it is to have this comedy thing, because the government wants you to be like, oh, they're saying something offensive. The government wants you to be like, tag us in so we can dictate whatever's happening. Tag us in.
Yeah.
You know, it's because of Lenny Bruce that this fucking thing, we have stand-up.
I'll be honest, I didn't know about the 9 inches thing. I'm thinking about my stage into Chico's. I'm like, I think I should put a couple inches underneath.
It was just weird because that just stood out.
Yeah.
And
it's wild.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna take the fucking Kaplan. I'm gonna go to law school, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna intern for Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos was representing my brother.
Oh yeah.
And he represented so many people.
I know that name, and I don't know shit about lawyers. So yeah.
He represents everyone. Colin Kaepernick, Chris Brown, Michael Jackson, Jesse Smollett, everyone.
Yeah,
everyone. And so some shit happened. Randomly, I got into some stuff. Some people got fucked up, and they pressed charges against me randomly. And I said, all right, well, if I'm gonna go to jail or whatever, might as well do my bucket list. And I had a friend of mine get murdered. He got shot at a taco stand.
Oh my god!
Of mistaken identity.
Oh.
And in this midst of depression, I was like, let me just go do an open mic. So I was terrified. I said, I prepared for like maybe 2 months. I read everything on comedy from Aristotle to George Meredith, notes on comedy where he broke down. It's the first book written on comedy, modern book, where he broke down different ethnicities or different cultures, how they perceive comedy. And I wrote maybe 5 minutes. I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah,
and
right.
Then 3 of my friends came to the Haha, and it was at the original Haha room, and they said, "How long you been doing comedy?" And I was like, 3 years.
Just gonna lie,
because I didn't want pity laughs,
right?
You know. And so I threw up in the bathroom. I was like about to die. There was a bunch of people. The guy who's hosting, his name is Sean Kerrigan.
Oh, yeah, we know Sean, yeah.
Yeah, fucking killer, man. I saw him. I actually saw him 3 weeks ago at the Improv.
Is he still? We haven't seen him in so long. Because he would come up here, sell out with his fucking Days of Our Lives fan base.
Yeah.
Like, we just sell out like 2 major shows and party. And
he was on Joey Diaz's podcast.
Was he really?
Yeah, he's and I told him, man, I go, you don't know me, but I know you.
Danny adores Sean Kerrigan.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's a great fucking guy, and he's a fucking good fucking boxer.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's a professional. I think he was a professional boxer.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, motherfucker knows how to get down. You can see. And I saw him. I'm like, yeah, man, you hosted my first open mic, bro. And my first joke landed, and I just heard people laugh out loud and clap.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it's over.
Yeah, this is it.
It's over. And fuck, man. And I got into comedy, but it was so difficult for me. It was so difficult doing comedy where maybe my first 2-3 years got on stage 200 times.
Wow.
It was every time I got on stage on a open mic, 3-minute open mic, I had to get there maybe an hour early just so I can do my breathing and walk around and do my stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah, and like it's like you say 200-300 times, but like if you're talking over the course of 3 years,
once a month,
that's not as much as you would think it is.
Once every couple weeks.
Yeah, right.
It's not, no.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be. I was like, I'm just gonna do this maybe a few years. I just want to do it 100 times. I just want to do it 100 times.
Yeah.
And then over time, man, things happen, and then life happened, and every time something awful happened, that's when I became better, became a better comedian.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, fuck, I'm 8-9 years in, and this is all I fucking want to do.
Yeah.
Or some something like that.
Right. Did you feel like where, like how far in when you feel like you, because I feel like every comic has sort of like this weird like tipping point. Like, do you remember like, you're like, oh, like, cause you go from like doing it once a month.
4 years ago.
4 years ago?
4 years
ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah. 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I quit because just the unfairness you experience in the LA comedy scene with one of the clubs, and they said I was going to be a regular because I passed, and then they forgot about me, and then shit with America's Got Talent. You don't know how to, because you expect people to owe you. And then I was comparing myself with other people that I thought I was funny or not funnier than. And then you're like, oh wow, it's too much.
Right.
And then I also had my life is all these things happening. So it's more for me not to think about what's happening in my life. And then 4 years ago, my grandfather, he died in my arms on Christmas Day. We buried on January 1st, my birthday. And that's when I completely changed as a comedian. Wow. Where I stopped being like trying to be likable and one-liners and have all these premises that people would like, and I just became myself. And I had a friend, Eric Allegre. He goes, hey man, want to do like 15-20 minutes at the strip club? I was like, you know what, it's going to be my last time doing comedy, and then I'm going to quit. He goes, yeah man, fuck it, just come do 15-20 minutes. And I went on stage and I said everything that I'm like, man, none of these people are going to like anything, just offensive, racist, titty fucking, just everything. And they fucking loved all fucking 21 minutes of it.
Yeah.
All fucking 20. And I remember, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to do maybe one more time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do one more time. And then that's when it happened.
Yeah.
That's when I started pushing it. And
do you feel like it was like, was it the material that changed? Or
desperation.
And like you were being like genuine. Like you were.
I was genuine.
Yeah.
I was tired. I felt this unfairness. I was like, no, it's like, I want to say what I want to say, and I feel like it's funny, and I believe you guys will also think it's funny, because it's like, I don't want to. When I say all these crazy things, it's because I'm saying it in jest. When people say, oh, you're this, I go, no. I am a good person because I know the bad stuff I've done.
Right.
To people.
And you own up to it.
That's been done to me. Right. Like at any point, it's like, it's hard because for a long time you don't respect comedians. I go, because none of these motherfuckers are men. They're fucking pussies. Because it's like, I can't talk about comedy with my fucking real friends, because they don't give a fuck about money. They don't give a fuck about comedy. They think about making money, bitches, and setting a life for their families. What the fuck you talking about? What's a premise? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
And talking about tags? Go.
Yeah, what the fuck's a tag? Yeah, we gotta go get money from that guy because he fucking.
I'll tell you what, we got to tag that asshole over there.
Yeah. And people think, and people are like, "Oh, you talking about The Sopranos?" I go, "No, motherfucker! Like, it's not just mainstream America where people are going into L.A. and Hollywood. Like, there was a coffee shop. There's a coffee shop in Hollywood, in Gramercy Place, and first time I went there, I started panicking. I don't know what the fuck is this. I had this anxiety attack. I was like, "Where am I?" It's called Sabor y Cultura. They had an open mic there, and I was like, why does this look so familiar? Because I repressed so much of my memories.
Yeah.
And I went back and I realized that this place that we got into a shootout with a rival gang.
Holy shit!
Right after the.
And now you're there doing an open mic.
I had an open mic. I have a show to do here.
Yeah.
And I start.
Last time I was here.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. It's the first time where I can't breathe. And I was like, all the graffiti's changed. And then I go back and I was like, oh, fuck, man. You know, and then you're like, well, what's the worst that can happen if people don't laugh at my jokes? No one's going to jump me. No one's going to come up to me. No one's going to shoot at me.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm like, so when people are like, several times people come up to me, you can't say that. I was like, man, you know, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or, I like doing ghetto ass rooms, man. Like a couple times I've done ghetto rooms, you know, you talk about street shit, gang shit, and a couple people come up and they're drunk and blah, blah, blah. I've, socked them out or fucking, threw drinks at motherfuckers, and then you realize you're a performer.
Uh-huh.
None of that shit matters anymore. Keep that shit in the past. You're a performer, and it's that ego. When that ego is when comedy rapes the ego out of you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it really breaks you down. Yeah.
Because the first 3 years, I'm trying to be half and half. I'm trying to be like a fucking, fucking hot shot while also doing comedy. And then you go, no, the people, they want you to be vulnerable. They want you to be yourself.
Yeah.
And then, you're like, you bomb, you eat a dick, and over time it just fucking you start feeling that nucleus of, or at least tapping into that nucleus of doing good. This is once you tap into this fucking, once you tap this chord, it's funny.
Yeah, right.
And then you just start finding avenues and how to get to that.
And then and just really like leaning hard into it. Yeah.
And then you start being true to yourself, and you start talking about stuff that really matters, and then you start having a perspective, and then you start fighting with yourself, and then fighting with other people in terms of, every comedy, we're all showing our perspectives. But the thing about me is I feel like a lot of people in the scene, and especially, in this country, they don't know what reality is.
Yeah, like they're afraid of your perspective. It's like, if I got to hear your perspective, you have to hear mine too.
Yeah.
And mine isn't pretty. And it's because of I'm the product of this awful systematic thing, I mean, so I get it. Because like to really like look at your perspective is to like take a hard look at what reality is for a lot of people, and if you've kind of like wrapped yourself in this weird bubble where everything's okay, like seeing somebody like yourself who goes up and shares what you share is hard for them. But the reality is, I think there's a lot more people in this world that see things the way you see things.
100%.
And I think that's scary to them. You know what I mean?
100. I mean, it's scary to us. I mean, life is scary.
Yeah.
And it's like, life is so dirty, and it's so painful, and it's so, nothing is promised, and it's like, this is the only country, and this is the only city where we can go on stage and try to do this silly fucking thing.
Yeah, and try to work through this shit.
Work through this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, because Americans, they're deep down, they're lovely people. They're not an aggressive people. No matter all the fucking history, slavery and wars, it's like Quaker Americans, they're nice people. All right? Like the Soviet Union, Eastern Europe, the Caucasus, motherfuckers are aggressive because you have to have been aggressive to survive thousands of years of, there's not like European colonialism. No, motherfucker, it's the Seljuk Turks, it's the fucking Mongols, it's the fucking Persian Sassanids, it's the fucking North African Moors. It's like, there's no white European colonialism. Shut the fuck up.
That's the least of their worries.
Yeah, that's the least of it. It's like, bro, they're talking about in history books your slavery, your Holocaust. To this day, they're not talking about our Holocaust. And the people who are denying it are the people who went through the Holocaust and who went through slavery.
Yeah, right.
You don't think that's unfair?
Yeah.
Oh, they go, oh, no, you're too much. All right, that's that's fucking immigrant mentality. But I love it.
Yeah,
it's exciting. But if everyone was like sucking our dicks and everything else, then you're like, well, you don't have a perspective. It's like it's like a boxer who who's like, I'm always up and coming, and then you knock fucking Mike Tyson out, and everyone's sucking your dick and you're doing coke, and you're like, well, and then you get knocked out by the other person.
Yeah, right.
And unfortunately, it's good for us because the world keeps getting dirtier and everything else, even though the world is the best it's ever been.
Right.
People are talking about Iran and everything else. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. All right?
Yeah.
There's so many...
There's a lot of money.
There's so many... Everyone's money is involved in fucking the world not going insane.
Right. Like World War III.
But they don't get it.
Yeah.
No one's going to build... No one's going to blow up your fucking financial buildings because the people who run these financial, they go, hey, listen, keep that shit over there.
Right.
Because when big worlds happen, they're going to bomb your financial buildings and your churches, and you're not going to want to give the money to your population because you don't give a fuck about your population to make construction shit happen.
Yeah.
But it's like, anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it's better to not use a condom.
Well, it's a great jumping off point because you're Fanto. And
Fanto.
This motherfucker, Regilio.
I got it wrong.
How many times?
Fanto.
You got it.
Fanto. Not like the drink. Fanto. And this is a podcast called Sad Dad.
Yeah.
Where we talk about our dads. You got a dad. And
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
but
he died several months ago.
It's like one of the things I've realized in doing this podcast is like it's such a big ask. Like, tell me about your dad. It's like, where do you, I always like to kind of like start at the beginning when it comes to the dad stuff. And so, where did your dad grow up? Where was he born?
He was born in Armenia.
Was he?
He grew up in Moscow, Georgia, all over. My dad was not a good dad to us, the worst. But he was the character you read about in the movies. Like everyone loved him. Everyone loved him, from prime ministers to organized crime figures.
Jesus.
He was the funniest. Mm-hmm. Everyone loved him. He was just bad to his family. Bing Crosby. I heard everyone loved Bing Crosby, and Bing Crosby beat the shit out of his kids and wife.
Jeez, yeah. Was he part of did he have a big family, like, growing up?
He had a very big family and a very big traumatic upbringing. His grandfather was in prison and had kids from other women, and it's a very, tiny town filled with a lot of big influential people in the world, artists and everyone else. And it's, his family, was part of the genocide, and I saw that, and then they were part of the wars, and his grandfather went to prison, and his dad went to prison, and he went to prison, and my uncle and my older brother went to prison. It's like this thing, it's this cycle it comes from something, epigenetics. We were talking about epigenetics. Yeah. And my mom's side of the family, it's the lineage is healthier, because my mom, she was a naval engineer, and my grandfather was the prime minister of Ukraine.
Whoa.
And my grandmother was one of the biggest female spies. I recently found out she has Alzheimer's now, and their was like owned museums. It was a more healthier lineage. So it was very hard for me to break that cycle. That's why I was like, I just don't want to go to prison. I don't want to continue it. Yeah. So I broke that cycle with me. And, with my younger brother, he was in street shit. So when I went to New York, I was popping in New York with, comedy shit. And then I heard my younger brother got into fucking gangbanging, because, my older brother went to prison. And anyway, so he had to answer for his shit. So I came back to LA. While I was doing comedy, I was fucking doing some crazy, like knocking motherfuckers out, going into... While I was doing, one time I went to Haha Comedy Cafe, and there was a cigar shop next to the Haha Cafe, and some dude that we were looking for, he owned the cigar shop, and I had a show there, and the homie came, he's like, yo, that motherfucker owns that cigar shop, or he had some vape shop or whatever. So right before my fucking set, we just went in and we stomped this motherfucker out because he had beat up one of my brother's friends. And he took a pistol out. He took a pistol out, and we just fucking booked it. And then I snuck back into the did a whatever said, and then he just closed the shop and bounced. We never saw him again. And his dad called us, please don't fucking. Anyway, my dad.
I mean, do you know any kind of like what the trajectory was for him? Like, how does he go from growing up in this little Armenian town in this big family to
it was hard coming. It was very hard. I mean, he was. I don't know what is. I'm still dealing with him passing, and then because you understand how difficult it is to be a dad, and especially leaving everything and coming to a country where you know nothing about.
Yeah.
Like nothing. In the old world, if something happens to you, you knew someone in the hospital or in the jail. Everyone knew your parents, your grandparents. Over here, no one gives a fuck about you.
Right.
You're in America. You're in Los Angeles. Not only are you in Los Angeles, you're in this fucking violent Los Angeles where your kids, if we had a dad, my brother probably wouldn't have gone into that life, and I wouldn't have gone into that life. And I know it's because 100% byproduct of not having a dad.
Yeah.
And when we came here, we had a lot of money. We had restaurants, we had bakeries, and then over time we lost it.
Yeah.
We lost it. Family members, they lied to us and they invested in, and we went from living in a mansion in Sherman Oaks and having a house in everywhere, New York, Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, to losing everything. And that broke my family down.
Yeah, that's hard.
That broke, and then my father left us when we were 10, 11, and my mom had to raise 3 boys, and we couldn't live anywhere. So,
how did your folks meet?
I don't know how they met. I know one guy asked my dad to pretend that he was his uncle so he could go and ask for my mom's hand in marriage because they were afraid of my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
Also, they were afraid of my mom because my mom, they don't know. It's like, who is this Ukrainian girl?
Yeah, it's
blah, blah, blah.
We're high up in the Navy, yeah.
Yeah. It was before that. She was like a young girl before. And then he's like, yeah, I'll pretend to be your uncle. And then whenever he saw my mom, he fell in love with my mom. And then he told the guy, he's like, "Nah, man, she's you don't
the daughter of the prime minister.
You don't want to talk to her.
Yeah.
She's bad news." And then I guess he started courting my mom. He would stand under the window for days, and then until my mom was like, "All right, I'll go out with you." And then my mom went out with him. And she said what I loved about him was he was very handsome, he was tall, he was very funny, he had nice hands, but she said they were going to go to a movie, and they had maybe like 10 rubles, and the movie cost 10 rubles for 2 people. And then there was a very homeless kid who had no shoes on and nothing, and then he came up to them. They go, "Hey, uncle, you have any money for gum?" And then he gave him, he didn't want to say no in front of my mom, so he gave him 5 rubles for whatever it was. And then he saw that his friend was staring like ashamed that he didn't have, and then he's like, and give that to your friend. And my mom saw that he only had 10 rubles in his pocket. And then my mom said, "You know what, we don't have to go to the movies."
Yeah.
So then that's how she said, I'll let him
like
come
that was
inside of me.
3, no less than 3 times.
Yeah. 4 times.
4 times. Oh, because
Twin sister Miriam, R.I.P. bitch.
There it is. She got her own squirt.
Yeah.
That's and so then what's okay? So like they meet, they're getting along really well. Like how does it kind of like progress from there? I mean, do they at what point are they like we got this family, we gotta?
Well, the earthquake happened and everyone's family members died. Everyone lost their families.
Oh, really?
So everyone lost their parents and their kids. Majority it was grandparents and grandchildren that died, so it ruined everything.
Yeah,
it ruined
whole town.
Yeah. People to this day, people are still not. That the effects of it are still.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the older I'm getting, I'm I'm realizing how mentally fucked everyone was. They just don't show it. Like, you have the war, and then you have the Soviet system, which I'm learning so much about how you had to be careful from your neighbors. You know, and then you had the earthquake, and then you had war with Azerbaijan, and then you have all that, and then you come to Los Angeles, and then your kids are getting beat up by blacks and Mexicans and whatever. And you're like, how do you think your kids are gonna be?
Yeah, right.
Like, and there's no one to turn to. There's no, we didn't have none of these counselors for like re-assimilation into the LA public school system because you guys are coming from war and earthquake. Like, I'm fucking thinking about that. I'm like, is that my fucking life, bro?
Yeah, right.
I'm thinking like, I'm making this up.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to complain.
Right.
Over here, it's like, oh, I'm a trans black Native American whore in a wheelchair, and people are not liking me. Not one time we were like, hey, we're mentally fucked.
Yeah. Well, somebody said, I forget who said it. Therapy is a third generation thing. Like, first generation, second generation. Yeah, it's like it's too far gone. Like, you're in survival mode.
Therapy now, dog. If my fucking one of my brothers or cousins saw that, if we heard that he went to therapy, we're gonna jump him.
You're gonna need physical therapy.
Hey, what's
bitch.
up? Hey, bro, therapy? Come here. No, come here. My grandma's like, fucking Vahan, don't come in the room. Shut up, grandma. Don't come in the room. We fucking tie that bitch up. You going to therapy, homie?
Yeah. So basically, cutting back to your folks, it's like, so basically, the world ends, right? And then
I'll tell you this crazy fucking story.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cut it short.
Sure.
I'm not gonna do it all the way. So my dad left us, and then I'm with my older brother and the homies, and we're just gang banging.
This is in Los Angeles,
L.A., Hollywood.
Yeah.
So we're fucking. We're fucking setting motherfuckers up. We're going to rival neighborhoods, shootouts. We're fucking beating up prostitutes, they're pimps. We're fucking cross-dressers. And if you're in our neighborhood and you're not paying us money, and I'm 15, I'm 14, 15.
And you're a character from Grand Theft Auto, yeah.
100%. Like they don't know. And I'm doing minimal shit. I'm terrified, but I'm gotta do it because I gotta show the homies. You know, I got jumped, and then they came to school and they fucked these motherfuckers up. They jumped me, and that's it. There's no cell phones, you know. That's our fucking neighborhood. Like, and I'm keeping a lookout, and my brother and his friends, they're maybe 16, 17 with guns. They're robbing motherfuckers, robbing cab drivers, fucking people coming out of the bars. Anybody, bro. Like, are you fucking, we all have issues, and you're coming in the wrong neighborhood, and you look like you're from a rival gang and everything else. We're taking out all our anger on you.
Yeah.
Out of like all the shit that fucking subconsciously in my mind. And then they end up robbing a fucking cab driver. Turns out to be my dad.
Oh.
My gun pushed a pistol to his head. He goes, "Give me your money, motherfucker." And my dad was like, "Yura?"
Oh.
And my bro was like, "Dad?" And then his friend was robbing the fucking people in the back of the cab. And then that's how we came back into our lives.
What? How have you been? Like, I was like, how does that even, like, wow. And he's like,
they robbed so many people that they ended up robbing this fucking limo driver that turned out to be my dad.
Wow. And then your dad's like, how's your mom? Like,
he said, take my watch and wallets because they're gonna think this is a setup in the back.
Right.
And then afterwards, we're driving, and then my brother's tripping out. I was like, what the fuck happened? He's like, we just robbed dad. I was like, what the fuck you mean we just robbed dad? We haven't seen this motherfucker for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And then he called my mom, and he came over, and he's like, your fucking kids almost fucking murdered me. And she goes, what the fuck are you doing here? And then, yeah, man, he wasn't a good dad. I know he had issues, like we all have issues, but I hadn't spoken to him in 10 years. He left us for another family. And then he got cancer last year, and his family left him.
Oh, geez.
And my mom was like, I just want you to know that he has cancer, and I think like if you ever want to become a dad, if you want to have kids, I think you should do something about this so you don't have to regret it. Sure. And I'm like, get out of my fucking room. Nah, my mom is the homie. She's the fucking OG. And so I called him. I go, listen, I'm gonna take you to your cancer treatments. I picked him up. He lived in downtown. And then his treatments were all the way deep in the valley, 45 minutes deep. And he comes in the car and he sits in the car, and I haven't seen him in 10 years. I haven't spoken to him in 10 years. He goes, you know, it shouldn't have been like this. And I'm like, listen, we're not talking about anything. I'm not calling you dad. We're friends now.
Yeah.
We're practically friends now. I'm not your son. You're not my father. We're family, and we stick together. You need treatment, I'm going to take you to treatment. We're not talking about the past. We're not talking about the future. We're just getting over it. We're just going to get you healthy. And, you know, his surgery went well, but he didn't want to live, you know. And he just, on purpose, he sabotaged his life. And luckily, my brother got out of prison. And my mom said he had maybe days left, and she goes, you have to have a conversation with him. You have to forgive him. You have to forgive him, but it's your choice. And it was so hard because I never wanted to talk to him. And I know the day before he called me and he said the worst things. He goes, I regret having a son like you.
Jesus.
It's all your fault that everything happened. And I know when people are about to exit the world, they don't know what to do. They panic and they say all these things.
Yeah, right. Because it's probably easier for him to be mad.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like that's the easier emotion rather than feel guilt or regret or sadness. Or, you know,
because we don't know what's happening. You know, It's like we don't know the kind of lives we've lived, and we don't know what's waiting outside after this. Fuck the Bible. Fuck the Quran. Fuck the Torah. It's everything else. Everything is fucking nonsense whenever that time comes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And then we had a bad exchange, and then I was like, I said everything I wanted to say, and then the next day they were gonna go nearby, and I just went over and I said, I forgive you and I love you, and fucking just be a man about it, man. Whatever the fuck it is, afterlife, fucking go handle it like a fucking man. And then he goes, you know, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, we're good. And the next day he died.
Jeez.
Yeah, he died when I had a show. I had a big show, and my mom called me an hour or 2 hours before the show, and then she told me that your fucking dad died. And I was like, I just have to fucking go do the show. And I talked about my dad dying for 15 minutes, and I killed. And the entire night, all the comics made fun of my dad dying because they thought I was lying.
Right.
And then we were just doing coke and fucking.
And comics are all terrible people.
Yeah. And they're really fucking. They're really funny comics. Alex Anseliaga and Jerry Roca.
Oh yeah.
And the next day they go, hey man, you know, I didn't know your dad really died. And I was like, man, you're still a faggot. It's not gonna bring him back. Yeah, that's one of the few times I saw that how I leveled up, because you know this is life, man.
Yeah.
So whenever people want to cancel people, this cancel culture and everything else, you know, it's like if you're gonna try to hurt someone financially, that takes money from them and their families and everything else, then in the life that I come from, there's repercussions for that. There's dire repercussions for that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna do this and you're not gonna be able to pay for your kids or whatever. I mean, I don't know if it's to that level, but in where I come from and the people that I fuck with, that means you have to pay severely. Mm-hmm. And if it's like, so people need to fucking relax with that shit.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a problem with someone, you go handle it, or you go to the cops, or do whatever the fuck you want. But if it's this fucking gang up culture where this clan-like mentality where we don't agree with this person, so this person has to be, you know, it's okay if the person's a multimillionaire and they lose a fucking 10 million or here, but they're still wealthy. But if you're talking about, if you break it down, if you prorate it to you're preventing someone from having money to provide for their family, bro,
yeah,
that's a bullet to the head.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be a fucking big tough guy. I'm just saying, like, God forbid that ever happens to anyone that I know. Right. But it's like that you're just taking money from me, basically. Yeah.
One thing we'll bring this thing in for a landing in a second. But I wanted to ask you about your
landing like the Boeing from Tehran.
Oh yeah,
so 168 people died.
That's super sad.
Yesterday.
Well, we'll talk about it.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was some dude with like a jumpy trigger finger. You know what I mean? Like everybody's on edge. They just fired all these missiles, and
You think the plane? I think they said the plane had an engine issue.
I think it got shot. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
they said.
it's gonna find out. But again, it's too much of a coincidence.
It's a weird coincidence. That's what I'm saying.
Especially Ukraine. They still don't know what happened to the Ukrainian plane.
Right.
Everyone that said it was Russia, they were murdered.
Yeah. That's that. Well, man. Yeah. Yes.
And it's like the next day. And, I mean, I quickly, and then we're gonna bring it to a landing.
Yeah.
I do believe they have lasers.
Okay.
I have a cousin in the Russian military. They go. Everyone has. The Americans have lasers. They also have like changing the weather things.
There's that whole DARPA thing up in what is it, Alaska or something? Yeah.
They have those things.
Yeah.
He goes. They have a laser where the same way where the helicopter can shut off your engine because they pass a law in LA where hybrids or whatever, the cops can shut off the engine.
Oh wow.
That they did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In LA, if there's a car speed chase and they have your whatever access to your car, they can shut off your engine.
That's fucking bananas.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like anything that is open to the public, then that means they have way crazier things.
Right.
That's what I believe.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I feel. I mean, my theory. This doesn't count for anything because I'm just a fucking dude from Fresno. But I think.
And you're gonna stay in Fresno.
That's it. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. It's the world. The rest of the world's too scary. I think it was just I think it was just a jumpy Iranian government who mistaken identity, saw a plane, was afraid it was retaliation from the Americans and shot down there. I don't know. That's just. I think everybody was just really, really on edge, and a mistake was made. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or I think it was the Americans or the Russians trying to make it worse.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be that too. Yeah. I was gonna ask you, in all of the banana stuff going on, like how's your mom? Like how's she? She sounds like a fucking tough cookie, man.
She's a very tough cookie. Yeah. They're all great, man. We all try to be the best. We all take it a day at a time, and you don't think about too much.
Yeah. What were her feelings on your dad? Like, I mean, obviously he left her in a difficult place.
She's, I would say, the only woman I will ever respect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the only woman I will never hit. All right, end of podcast.
Thanks, that was a great landing. Well, I'll say this: if people enjoyed Fanto today and want more Fanto in their lives, where should they go? Where should they find you?
Hit me up on Instagram and my YouTube, Wannafanto, WANNAFANTO. I got a bunch of funny skits that hopefully I'm going to shoot with Regilio and Apkarian.
Yeah.
And post it. Man, just be a fucking good person and hope other people are good to you. And if people are not good to you and they don't want the best, hopefully, you have people around you or you're courageous enough to, send them to Iran.
Really? Yeah. Drove that home. Yeah.
It's all over the place, man, but that's who I am.
That's who you are.
Whenever I know how to do a real podcast, and that means like I'll be rich. And just like, there's so much everything I said, I regret saying it.
Do you?
Yeah.
If there's shit you want me to edit out, I can. Yeah.
Just my part speaking. Can you just edit whatever I say?
Sure. We can make that happen. Fanto, thanks so much for being on.
Thank you so much.
And we're back. Fanto, everybody. How fun was he? It's wild. Check out his YouTube. I'll link his, like I said in the episode, I'll link his YouTube channel in the show notes. Give that a like, give that a follow. And yeah, thank you, Fanto, for doing that, man. That was wild. That was fun. This has been kind of a crazy week of shows. 2020 has been kicking me in the nuts again, too. I thought after December things were going to chill out a little bit. No, I'm actually going to be in Southern California next week with my buddy Matt Cole's shows down in Orange County and Placentia and a few other places. So I'm going to be down your way, Southern California. That is what are the dates on that? That is I'm going to do a little run. It's going to be January 14th, 15th, 16th, probably 17th and 18th. There's a show I'm hoping to hop on the 18th, and maybe I can find something to do the 17th too. But either way, if you're down that direction and want to hang out, let me know. Let your old dad know. We'll make that happen. So cool, guys. That is it for this week. I'll be back next week with a fresh new Sad Dad. I need to have Abby on here to give you guys an update on what's going on with her. She got sick yesterday. I felt really bad for her. Today's her mom's birthday, and they went out to teppanyaki because her mom really likes teppanyaki. And then Abby got sick while they were at teppanyaki. Poor thing. So yeah, dealing with a sick kid right now. So feel bad about it. Anytime your kid's sick, you're like, oh. It's awful, you know. It's shitty enough when you're sick, and then your kid's sick. You're like, oh, this is the worst. Anyway, so all right, guys. Thank you so much. That's it. Adios.